the chairman of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Mahesh Saharia sir. He's logged in. We have with us the president of India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Abdul Matlub Ahmed. We have also with us the director of Sylhet Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Fakhur Us Salehin Nahian. And we have got with us Dr. Samir Borwa, chairman of the ICC Banking and MSME Committee, who will be there at the introductory session. Post the introductory session, we have a technical session, which is a special session on road segments. And there, the session coordinator will be Srimati Jaya Verma Sinha, additional member, Traffic Railway Board, India. Then, as eminent panelist, we have Madam Mashri Binte Shami, Secretary East, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Government of Bangladesh. We have also with us the President, India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Abdul Matlub Ahmed. Then we are joining from the Public Works Department, Building and National Highways, Government of Assam. We are joined by the Additional Chief Engineer, Mr. Shantanu. And finally, we have the Director of Sylhet Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Fakhur Us Salehin Nahian. To start the program, I'd like to request the Chairman of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Mahesh Saharia sir, to kindly deliver his introductory remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, friends. Mr. Abdul Matlub Ahmed, a good friend and President of India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Fakhur Us Saleh Nahian, Director, Sylhet Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Bangladesh. My friend and colleague, Mr. Samir Borwa, Chairman of ICC Banking and MSME Committee, Northeast Region. Friends, when we speak about India and Bangladesh, very often we hear that we have commonalities in terms of language, food, culture, and so on. I believe the most understatement in between our similarities when we speak about India and Bangladesh. Actually, we are same people, India and Bangladesh. The only difference is from the emblem on the passport, which gives us a distinct identity. Having said that, I must say that both countries share an all-encompassing win-win partnership based on democracy, secularism, sovereignty, equality, trust, and understanding that goes beyond a strategic partnership. ICC since long has been seriously engaged for improvement of bilateral India-Bangladesh relations through various activities, including exchange of high-level delegations. I had the privilege of meeting Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, a day before she took oath in 1996 on behalf of SAARC Chamber. Later, in 2009, she took oath on 6th January again as a Prime Minister, and we had IC to make a presentation to her and her advisors and Council of Ministers on various issues, bilateral issues between India and Bangladesh with a focus on Northeast region. Subsequently, we have continued our delegations, and every few years we take one delegation which not only consists of business people, but also ministers from the 4 neighboring states bordering Bangladesh, as well as officers from the 4 states. And this gives us a tremendous opportunity to interact and resolve many issues which have come. We have hosted many delegations, and we have taken many specific sector-wise delegations to Bangladesh, and we have continued. Friends, this historic event today for next 2 days is a follow-up of India-Bangladesh stakeholders meet in 2019 held at Guwahati between on 22nd and 23rd October, which had a very large areas which were identified to take it up. We had discussion at that time on road agreements, port use agreements, role of regulatory authorities, border potentialities of cross-border surface route trade, role of transporters and freight forwarders. Now, these were specific areas which were identified, and during the discussion, specific decisions were taken, a roadmap was made, and it was agreed that in a time-bound manner, we'll take it up and resolve most of the issues. And we will continue to hold such summit. Unfortunately, soon after that, we could not meet due to the pandemic. But I'm very happy to say that despite the pandemic, India and Bangladesh, the stakeholders, and particularly the government of both sides, they have continued what we had decided during the Guwahati meet. And each of the issue has been addressed and not left alone. If I speak about connectivity, rail link, road link, river link, air, and people-to-people contact. The pandemic has brought in tremendous pressure, but wherever we could, the government has taken steps, both sides, and so also the private sectors and the other stakeholders who have been involved, and we have moved forward. Several initiatives have been taken up as far as ICP, land customs, and border hearts are concerned. I'm not getting into details because we have, on each sector, we have specific discussions, and each details will come out during that time. I'm very happy, particularly in terms of inland water transit and trade, where many of the protocols have been signed and things have moved forward. Feni Bridge connecting LCS Sabrum Tripura and LCS Ramgarh was jointly inaugurated on virtual platform on 9th March 2021. Friends, one of the most important movement which took place recently was to move food item for the first time on river transport from Patna in Bihar to Pandu in Assam through both the rivers on the India-Bangladesh protocol. And the ship recently arrived Guwahati or Assam, and it was received by the Chief Minister of Assam as well as the Honorable Minister from Delhi on the shipping minister. So these 200 tons of feed grain traveling 2,350 kilometers made a very important milestone in between. We have continued our association. Recently in Guwahati, in collaboration with the Assistant High Commission of Bangladesh at Guwahati, India-Bangladesh Trade Portal was inaugurated. An Honorable Minister for Information and Broadcasting, he visited Guwahati. This is a unique protocol, perhaps the only one between bilateral trades, which gives specific information of exporters and importers for B2B and B2C connectivity. And I must compliment the Assistant High Commissioner, Dr. Tanveer Mansoor, who took extra pain not only to have the inaugural session on a cruise, followed up by film festival for next 4 days, and who took extra pain to identify persons from Northeast region with special interest in Bangladesh, who have helped Bangladesh in particularly during the 1971 war and the freedom movement. So this was very special gesture, I must appreciate on behalf of the Assistant Commissioner, and my compliments once again to him. Friends, this historic two-day event as such has been planned again in a manner to take stock since last meet at Guwahati in 2019 and to establish new goals for sub-regional South Asia cooperation. We look forward to how to utilize the potential of Northeast of $1 trillion economy and how to make Mongla Port, Chittagong Port as a part of transit and a part of economic facility for both countries, our three countries, Bhutan, Nepal, and India, and particularly with Northeast region. With these words, I would like to extend a heartiest welcome to all who have joined us this session and compliment the expert panelists, eminent speakers, participants who would be joining the two-day event in different stages at different times. Thank you very much, friends, once again.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much to the Chairman of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Northeast Region, Mahesh Saharia, sir, for your introductory remarks. With due permission from the panelists, I just would like to say that Madam Mashfi Binte Shama, Secretary East Minister of External Affairs, Government of Bangladesh. Actually, she is traveling with the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh to UAE today, and she has got a flight to catch. But she just wants to put up her delivery to the esteemed audience. To kindly, I would, with your permission from the panelists, I would request, prior to the other speakers, I'd request Madam Mashfi Binte Shama, Secretary is Minister of Foreign Affairs, Government of Bangladesh, to kindly deliver your address to the gathering, Madam.
I join you, Pranam, in welcoming Madam Mashfi Binte Shama. Thank you very much, ma'am, to joining
Shama,
us this.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the hosts and the organizers for accommodating my request to speak well ahead of everybody else. I really apologize for this great inconvenience that I'm causing all of you. Unfortunately, our foreign secretary was actually supposed to join this session, but he couldn't because he is also traveling with our Honorable Prime Minister today, and he requested me to stand in for him. But then I also have to leave at quite early. But I was very keen to join this session because this is something which is very special to the hearts of everybody in Bangladesh. So thank you very much. Distinguished guests, distinguished panelists, participants. First of all, I would like to congratulate the India-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce for organizing this special session, this stakeholders meeting on the BBIM Motor Vehicle Agreement. And this is, I cannot underscore how important and how timely this initiative is. We have all along been critically aware of how much we need to enhance the connectivity of not only the infrastructure, but also the movement of the traffic between this region, within this region, particularly the sub-region of Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, and India. We have all been talking about it since 2015, when this agreement was signed in Bhutan. And since then, we have been hoping that this agreement would be operationalized very soon. Unfortunately, Bhutan opted out in June 2016 that they would not be able to participate. And we have been working with Nepal also to work out the various protocols, the passenger protocol and the cargo protocol. And even as we speak today, the officials of all three countries are meeting in Delhi to finalize the passenger protocol and then to start the work on the cargo protocol, which will be so important to facilitate the movement of people and goods. Um, Distinguished panelists, you are all aware that the South Asian region remains one of the least connected and integrated regions in the world. Our intra-regional trade remains just in the region of 5 to 6%, compared to many the Asia Pacific region, which accounts for more than 50%, and even Africa, where it's around 20%. And the cost of doing business within this region remains extremely high. It's cheaper to send goods from India to Brazil rather than to send it to Bangladesh. And this is not a healthy sign. And this is not what we in Bangladesh, at least, would like to see. You see, today, our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, he had a vision. He had a vision of Sonar Bangla, of a developed, modern Bangladesh, poverty-free, free from any injustice. And he not only dreamt of Sonar Bangla, but he also dreamt that the region would be connected, and that the region would develop together. Our Honorable Prime Minister is also carrying that vision. She also believes that the region must grow together and that we must work together to develop and to reach a certain level of prosperity. To do that, this motor vehicle agreement is one of the key instruments in trying to achieve that level of interconnectedness and that interdependence that is essential for our collective development, socio-economic development. As most of you know, in the last decade and a half, Bangladesh has made tremendous gains in its economic development. From in 2009, our GDP was roughly just above $100 million dollars, and this year it has crossed 411 billion dollars. So you see, the growth trajectory of Bangladesh is very high, and it is projected to remain high. We are hopeful that by 2041, we will be able to reach our goal of becoming a developed economy, the Sonar Bangla that was dreamt by our father of the nation. But to do that, we must have the opportunity, we must optimize all the synergies that we have, and we must harness all the synergies that we have in the region. And for doing that, we must connect with other economies, Nepal, Bhutan, Northeast India, and also the rest of India. Because unless we can have an export-led, export growth-oriented economy, unless we can fully utilize our all our opportunities, we will not be able to reach our goal or target. And interconnectedness, whether it is the roads, whether it is railways or the inland waterways or air connectivity, will be critical in helping us attain these objectives. Not only do we need physical connectivity, we also need the soft connectivity, the harmonizations of rules and regulations, and the non-tariff removal of all the non-tariff barriers. We must have our land ports and the ICPs to be user-friendly, to be business-friendly, and unless we can plug in all these requirements and these factors, we will not be able to achieve our goal. So that is where this motor vehicle agreement will play a critical role in taking us forward. So I think this is a wonderful initiative. This initiative has to be private sector driven, because the bureaucracy, the government, we in the government, we have been working towards that, but it is you who must drive the process forward. But I think, this for the BBIN to become fully successful, we must bring on board our friends in Nepal and Bhutan. Of course, Bhutan will join later, but I would urge the business community of India and Bangladesh to work with the business community in Nepal in trying to convince them that this motor vehicle agreement will benefit all of us collectively, and it is not meant to. It will not be, used in anybody's particular advantage. I would like to end here, and I would like to thank all of you again for accommodating my request. I will just take one more minute to recall today. It's a very special day for Bangladesh. Today is 7th March. It is the day when our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, gave this historic 7th March speech in 1971, which sort of triggered our journey towards our independence. He gave the clarion call on this day when he said that this movement, today's movement is for our independence. এবারের সংগ্রাম স্বাধীনতার সংগ্রাম. So that was that is the call that launched our independence war, and on 26th March we formally started, declared independence. So I take this opportunity to pay my tribute to our father of the nation, and also to all those martyrs of our liberation war. And also I take this opportunity to thank the government of India, the people of India, and the soldiers of India who fought and helped us during our war of liberation. And also this is a very special year because we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. So I wish the stakeholders meeting a great success, and we in Bangladesh remain committed to do everything to take this agreement forward. Thank you all very much.
So much, madam. Thank you for your delivery. It's really inspiring, and thank you so much for being there. We really are happy to share it. Thank you. So now we come to the next speaker of ours. This is our own Abdul Matlab Ahmed Bhai, a very supportive person for Indian Chamber of Commerce. He has always supported Indian Chamber of Commerce. So I now request Abdul Matlab Ahmed, President India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce, to kindly provide his statement.
Thank you very much, Shariaji. First of all, I must thank Mashmi Binti Shams, madam. He had been I'm speaking or not? No,
The volume is very low.
Volume is low. Okay, can you try now? Is it okay now?
It's much better.
It's improved. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to use a laptop. Anyway, let me first of all thank Mashfi Binti Shams. She had been always with us. She had been in the region as High Commissioners, and she had been always supporting ICC. We have been together with our Foreign Ministry and our Commerce Ministry in many of the ICC endeavors in Northeast. Secondly, I must thank Shariaji for giving a recoup of what has been done, or a follow-up of what has been done in 2019. As we all know, Sharaji is an expert on the regional movement and regional development activities. And together with him, we had met our Honorable Prime Minister and also the Chief Ministers of many of the states to carry forward the ICC agenda of better connectivity and better business in this region. I must tell you that even with the COVID, a huge progress has been done in Indo-Bangla trade and relationships. Even when the borders were closed, even when we were not being able to move, goods had come in, and it was Indian oxygen which had helped Bangladesh to save many lives, which had been imported via the Petrapol-Benapol border. We also saw the development of the rail movement with Benapol during the COVID time. And through rail, we not only found vehicles to come in, but many other products. And as usual, Benapol Petrapol rail shipment has now a queue and waiting period. I would like to tell you that the government of Bangladesh and India both are trying to develop the road connectivity between the two nations. But if we look around, our trade volumes have increased. For the first time, Bangladesh has crossed $1 billion and now racing towards $2 billion this financial year, which means traffic from Bangladesh to India has also increased, where India to Bangladesh has also crossed 10 billion. So we are now looking for further connectivity development. In fact, we are lagging behind. I can also say that there has been some development in the waterways, but the business people and the industries are not yet accepting waterways as a normal way of movement. And that is the reason why we also need to look towards waterways as a solution to reduce some of the traffic from the roadways in between the Petrapol and Benapol side. As regards to the current situation, where are we now? I would say that we have progressed a lot, but we need a new thinking on what we had discussed in Assam. The riverine transport to Pandu has already been tried, but still it is not proving to be economical yet. Same as the other riverine ports, which needs to be worked on now. Further, we need more land ports between the northeastern side, and we know that 6 more of them are coming up, and ICC needs to follow them up as a follow-up of our 2019 program, so that we have more land routes. And only land routes is not the end of the thing. Most of the land routes, we cannot import or export normal products. So that we have to also work on allowing all products to move from all land port, so that actually then the vehicles will start moving from the traditional Petrapol, Benapol to the rest of the borders. Moreover, we need to work on the transshipment or direct shipment from India to Northeast. And for that, we need corridors. And for these transshipment corridors, or if you say direct transit corridors, we need to use the lesser utilized land borders on east and west, instead of trying to put everything in the Petrapol-Benapol border. That is one area that ICC also must look into. Further, I would like to explain that I had been to the Petrapol-Benapol border only the 2 weeks back or 1 week back, and I had a meeting with the Customs Commissioner and the port. We have opportunities to triple, 3 times the capacity of Benapol. And I would like to take this up at the highest level so that we can increase the capacity of Petrapol-Benapol 3 times the current situation. At least 1,000 trucks from India to Bangladesh should move through this port, and 8 lanes should be done on both sides, and car parking and other areas. The private sector coming into Bangladesh from India. Similarly, now we also have a traffic jam for the exports from Bangladesh to India. So we need to think about it. Bangladesh exports to India is exporting fast. Expanding fast, and we believe that we have to this movie. And in
Huh? Matlub Sahab, your voice we are not able to hear clearly. So
I
yeah,
will
currently.
I will again be joining and with a better connectivity.
Yeah,
For
sir,
now, let
otherwise
me
you can
finish
do
here.
what you can.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sri Abdul Matlub Ahmed Sahab. Now I would like to request Sri Fakhurul Salehin Nahian, Director, the Sylhet Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Bangladesh, to kindly deliver his introductory address.
Good morning and
Your bandwidth is very much low showing. Please switch off your video and it will be improve, I think. Your voice is not audible. Just switch off your video, please, and it will be better because bandwidth is very much low at your end.
Yeah. Um, mm, mm, mm.
সালেহান নাহিয়ান সাহেব, I would request আপনাকে রিকোয়েস্ট করছি প্লিজ আপনার ভিডিওটা অফ করে দিন because you have a low bandwidth from where you are connecting. Nahian Saab, can you hear us? Hello?
Yeah, Pranam, message him. He can see, I think.
Siddharth. I request the gathering to kindly bear with this technical glitch which we are having. Mr. Nahian Saab actually has joined from a location which has maybe low bandwidth connectivity. We are trying to connect with him.
Hello. Yes.
Sir, Mr. Nahian Saab actually is in low bandwidth connectivity, so he's technically we are not able to hear him actually properly.
Yeah. So with his permission, can we move forward and then come back to him later?
Yes,
Sir,
I think
I
we
think
should do
we will do that. Yes, yes, sir. Yeah. Mr. Nahian Sahab is rejoining again. So we will come to him later on. He will rejoin. So I now request Dr. Samir Borua, Chairman ICC Banking and MSME Committee, to kindly deliver your closing remarks of this introductory session.
I am delighted to be in the midst of such distinguished dignitaries and be able to listen to the eminent speakers in this eventful event. It is an enriching experience for me to get newer insights into the issues and challenges before us in developing closer ties between India and Bangladesh in the field of trade, industry, and commerce. It is heartening to note the initiative taken by ICC in bringing both the countries together in the field of trade and industry with an objective of leveraging their core competencies in a collaborative effort. I feel there is some need for more and more P2P initiatives in order to bring the people of both the nations together and thus bringing the gap in trust and confidence amongst the people at large. There is need to clear any apprehensions in the minds of the common people that with greater opening up of the economies, there will be strengthening of regulations so that people will be able to cross the porous international borders only with valid travel documents as per the regulations laid down by both the countries. Over the years, due to historical reasons, despite great efforts by both the countries, there has been some bitterness here and there amongst people at the grassroots level, which is now gradually turning into appreciation on the need to work together for economic prosperity of both the nations and of the people at large. There is wide appreciation on the efforts put in by both the governments in and efforts put in by the new generation and efforts put in by the trade and industry associations for comprehensive economic developments of both the countries. I, belonging to the banking industry, feel that the banking industry must come forward in providing the much needed financial assistance to trade industry and agriculture. This is one area where a lot of improvements will be required to be looked into, and so that both the association, the Indo-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce, can also look into this aspect of it, having some sort of deliberations with the banking community, so that they are more proactive, and especially as far as opportunities are concerned, as we have already heard our eminent speakers who have already informed that there is a lot of initiatives have been taken, and that is where the banking industry definitely has a very huge responsibility, and they can significantly contribute in promoting trade, industry, commerce, in agriculture, in all the sectors. And one thing is very admirable: the organizing of the micro sector in Bangladesh can be an eye opener for the micro sector in our country. And this is an area where it requires a special sort of attention in how to bring about the micro sector out of the MSMEs into the organized sector. We have almost 90% of the micro sector in the unorganized sector, and since we are talking in larger volumes, we are talking in terms of exports. So it is very essential to aggregate the services and the products at the micro sector level and bring it into the ambit of regulations so that it meets the international standards. We, of course, we all are eagerly looking forward to the deliberations by eminent speakers in the technical sessions, and that it would provide a lot of takeaways to all of us. I'm very pleased to see that we have special sessions on road agreements. We have special sessions on potential cross-border surface route trade. Then we have special session. We have an inaugural session where the Honorable Minister will be the chief guest. Piyush Goyal ji is also coming, and we have B2B meetings sector-wise on the field of agriculture and food processing, mines and minerals, tea, infrastructure, others. And we also have special sessions on role of regulatory authorities, which is very important. And then we have special session on port use agreements and special sessions on role of transporters and freight forwardness, it is a very exciting sort of. In fact, we are eagerly looking forward to the deliberations, and I must appreciate ICC Northeast and ICC India for taking this initiative. I profusely also thank on behalf of ICC Northeast, Muhammad Sri Abdul Matlab Ahmed is there, and of course our representatives from Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce. He has not been able to join due to connectivity problem, and we will await his message also. We'll wait for that. And I must specially compliment my very dear friend, Sri Mahesh Saharia ji, Chairman, Indian Chamber of Commerce Northeast Initiatives, for a very inspiring. He's always very inspiring. At the same time, he has got huge inputs as far as Indo-Bangladesh issues and challenges are concerned. And I'm very happy that he has set the ball rolling for this two-day eventful event. And I must, because time is also running short, otherwise we could have talked some more on the initiatives that is being taken on banking and other spheres. And I'm quite certain that this two-day deliberation will give us a lot of insights, and as has been told by Maheshji also, that India, Bangladesh, they have a lot of commonality, and they have lot of strengths. And if we can sort of collaborate by leveraging the core competencies of the various sectors, I'm quite certain we will have a very, very progressive and very exciting sort of days and years ahead of us, where we can become very important player in the entire world, in the global scenario also. Thank you once again, ICC, for giving this opportunity and taking this initiative on this historical. I must also add to it that it's a historical event where both India, Bangladesh issues on trade and industry, commerce, is getting deliberated, and the initiative that has been taken of late by the government of both the countries, I think it is very, very appreciable. It is very much appreciated that the steps have been taken, very progressive, and it will definitely lead to a lot of progress in the subcontinent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Samir Barua, sir. Thank you for your remarks. So now we would move on to the technical session. I thank the panelists of the introductory session for their addresses. So to start with the special session on the road agreements, I would now like to invite Srimati Jaya Varma Sinha, Additional Member Traffic, Railway Board India, to kindly enlighten us about the connectivity between India and Bangladesh through railways, and also her remarks regarding the road agreements. Madam Jaya Varma Sinha.
A very good morning to all the eminent panelists and the participants of this Bangladesh-India special session on the road agreement specifically, as a part of this India-Bangladesh stakeholders meet. At the outset, I would like to express my pleasure at being part of this forum, as I have a very long association with India-Bangladesh inter-country transportation. For about 4 years, I was posted as the railway advisor in the High Commission of India at Dhaka. And I had the privilege to be part of the start and inauguration of the passenger train service between Kolkata and Dhaka, the Maitri Express, on Poila Boishakh in 2008. Now it's nearly 14 years, and we have progressed far ahead with another passenger train running between Kolkata and Khulna, and a third one which has been announced last year between New Jalpaiguri and Dhaka, the Mitali Express, which is yet to start due to the pandemic. I'm sure it will be starting very soon. While the people-to-people contact is certainly furthering through these passenger trains, the freight movement between the two countries has been progressing on an almost it's doubling over the years. and more and more interconnectivity points between the two countries are opening up. At present, we have 5, and 4 more are in the offing, and that is the way forward. Trade between the two countries definitely needs the logistic costs to come down. Indian Railways and the Bangladesh Railway are cooperating on a regular basis, and we have a roadmap planned in which the Bangladesh Railways infrastructure is being augmented, and so is the infrastructure on the Indian side, so that the trade between the two countries is facilitated and the logistic costs to keep coming down. In fact, if we look at the data, we were carrying something like 670 freight trains between the two countries in the year 2019 and 20. This increased despite the pandemic. This, as has been pointed out one minute by Sri Abdul Matlub Ahmad, that even despite the pandemic, we doubled the movement of consignments and trade between the two countries, and nearly 1,300 freight trains moved in the year. In the current year, we have already crossed 1,400 trains, freight trains between the two countries. And I must also mention that the liquid medical oxygen trains, there were 20 such trains which moved between India and Bangladesh, and helped both the countries to take care of the pandemic in a very, very significant manner. There are, on an average, about 140 freight trains moving in a month between the two countries, which has also recently started with the container movement. The 40-feet container has also moved to Benapole by rail. There is a greater plan for furthering the container movement. Nearly 10 to 12 trains are carrying containers. Parcel traffic has also been added. So there are about, again, 10 to 12 parcel trains, and 20 are open wagon trains, and the rest, the remaining, are covered wagons carrying a lot of consignments between India and Bangladesh. And if we look at the kind of consignment, stone being the maximum in terms of bulk, and then there is food grain, maize, rice, autos, containers, etc. So even fabric and yarn is moving between the two countries. So the future of rail links is going to increase further. There are 4 already planned, which are going to open up very soon. So while the bilateral rail movement is moving on a fast trajectory, and there are a lot of plans between the two countries, there is a lot of investment also going on in augmenting the infrastructure so that the logistic cost comes down. But as we are here to discuss the surface transport between the two countries, and specifically focus on the road movement between the two countries, I'm sure the deliberations of this panel will highlight the challenges being faced between the two countries for moving by road, and the deliberations would also highlight the way forward. I'm sure the actionable points to move further in this direction would emerge out of this deliberation and this session, and both the countries would be able to benefit from this session. I'm very, very happy to see that we have this kind of an August gathering here to deliberate on these issues, which is putting forth the serious intent of both the countries and the participants and the trade and the industry to facilitate this trade further. I would hand over the session to start the deliberations. Thank you.
So now, thank you, madam. Thank you so much. We are really privileged that today you have joined us and you've given your remarks today. So we would now like to start with Sri Fakhrur Salehin Nahin, Director, Sylhet Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So this is the road agreement session. So your remarks regarding the same about India and Bangladesh. And I just like to request you, Nahin Sahab, if your audio, if your connectivity is a bit weak in that place, So we would have to maybe switch off your video and only talk with the audio. Let's just start it. So I'd request Sri Fakhurus Salehin Nahian, Director, Sylhet Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to kindly address the gathering.
Good afternoon. Am I audible now?
You're very audible now. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. I think I got my connection back established again. However, coming
So
back
if you
to
could,
the right.
if you could
So
see
coming
your
back
video,
to our discussion. I'm not getting back to my video, as you know, it might disrupt my connectivity as well. So I'm not
okay,
looking back to go back with the video again. So is that okay with
okay,
everybody?
fine. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, starting with, me being a very youngster, and, my business is import, and I have a lot of business with India. I import stone, coal, all from India. And I also import stone from Dubai, and coal from South Africa, Indonesia, and other countries as well. So I have a bit of experience here with Indian, and plus my educational background is from India. I've been studying in India from class grade 4 until grade 12. So, I came back from there. So I know the culture, cross-culture things. They're very much, aligned, Bangladesh and India. So we have that in common. Uh, about the road agreement, you see, if I look at Europe, or if I look at the North American, say Canada and America, both have connectivity, and their trade has, grown robust. So we actually need to focus on something like that. BBIN is one factor, like, which we all know, which it considers Bangladesh, India, Bhutan, and Nepal. It has to come together. There has to be a starting point. I feel this part of the world is still lacking behind because of the trade agreement and cross-border activities. We need to give permission for Bangladeshi trucks, cars to move to India. From there, it could go to Bhutan. From there, it could go to Nepal. And this could enhance the trade facility of all the countries. Like my previous speaker said, Ms. Jaya, she spoke about the logistic thing. It is very much correct. We as importers, when we think about logistics, say for example, the cost of stone is about $7. Bringing it down to Bangladesh adds another $23. So just logistic is about $23, and that's not the end. From there, you have to do other logistics, like, lightering into small feeder vessel. We have to do those sort of things, activities. So that increases the logistic cost for all the business. And this needs to be addressed very soon. Not only the road agreement, I would also like to put my focus on, we have inland, say for example, from India, it could load one of the small lighter vessel, and it could come straight to my projects going on in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is growing very fast under the leadership of our honorable Prime Minister. She's a very visionary leader, and she has set an example. She has set a standard. We cannot go below the standard right now. So the standard she has set, we need to fulfill that. Starting from the Padma Bridge, we have done that with our own funding. So these are the mega projects going on, and there are several mega projects where I'm involved, where I'm supplying stone, where I'm supplying other raw materials. These are the things. We could save a lot of money if we could save some logistic time. You see, from India, we bring a lot of stone. If Indian truck could go all the way to our, the project, and our export things that we export. Pran RFL does a lot of exports to India. If they could go straight away to the, receiver's end, it could save a lot of money and a lot of time. And plus, for business, for example, if I want to go to one of my seminars or one of my parties' office in India, I should be able to go straight directly, rather than having any sort of bindings that you cannot take your car. Say for example, I'm going to Kolkata for some meeting. I should be able to drive my own car there, like people doing in Europe, like people doing in America. This sort of connectivity is very important for both the nations to grow. Both our economy is very promising. India and Bangladesh, both our economies are very, very, very promising, and we are growing at a very fast rate. And this could be an example to the world. We could actually be one of those nations who could take up a lot of economic activities, because this part is called the hub of the world. Bangladesh, our port, seaport in Chittagong, this is one of the ports that could actually be a hub in this region. So we can utilize that. For example, northeastern India, they don't have any ports. So if even if I'm not wrong, Haldi port in India is not very draft friendly for the bigger mother vessels to come in and unload. We could use Chittagong port. As you know, we have already set up our Matabari as our deep sea port. We could take it from here and go all the way to the northeastern India. A lot of products, northeastern India is not yet that developed. We can focus on that. How can we develop? For developing, we need infrastructure, we need road connectivity, we need water connectivities. So we can use this port, and we can take these products back to your northeastern India through these ports. So these are the connectivities we need to think. We are friends for a long time. India has been helping us in our liberation war to, starting from the liberation war when I was not there though. But that friendship, that good terms is always there. So I urge, our this forum to actually come in with a solution where we can start this road agreements. Dialogue has been going on for quite a long time right now. So what I want from here, we can start something. Maybe we can start off with a roadshow or anything, which we have already done. If I'm not wrong, Matlub Uncle has already done when he was the president of Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce. I'm also involved there, so I've already heard from this. So we can start something. Dialogue, we have had enough of dialogues. Now we need to do action plans. We need to make action plans, and that's how we can actually grow together. I think that would sum up my thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fakhru Saleh Nahian. That was truly an energetic delivery from your side. Thank you so much. Now we are going to invite Sri Abdul Matlub Ahmed sir again. So we are currently in the session of road agreements. I would like to request you to kindly deliver your views regarding the same. Sri Abdul Matlub Ahmed sir. Sir, if you would switch off your video, then I think you will be heard better. Hello. Debu Matlub Sahab is talking, but we are not able to hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Now we can hear you.
All right. Is it clear enough?
Yes, sir. Now it's clear enough.
All right. Thank you so much. I might see for this session. As you all know, the road agreements or the road connectivity, together we have been working for quite some time now. And when BBIN was declared, I had made a BBIN forum in Bangladesh, and we had a meeting of all four embassies, including Bhutan. And there I found that Bhutan truck drivers had an issue. They take it. So I had a proposition to the that we come to the opposite of the area. Today, several things we need to do. As Salim just pointed out, that enough talking has been done. We now need to get something done. What we can do is ICC and people who are connected, the Chamber of Commerce, and try to see how best we can formulate a policy for the governments. India, Bangladesh is very keen to start something. And the discussion there I feel would not be a good idea. We need Bhutan in some way to be connected. And if we can have the BBIN done, then as we had always dreamt the trust between these countries are very high, and it is only when the trust factors remain, the free movement happens. I would like to stress upon that whatever connectivity we have needs to be improved. Like we should have a minimum 4-lane roads up to the border. Now earlier we had only 1 lane. The purpose was to make everything slow so that smuggling happens less. But now things are different. Now we are trading partners and our volumes are going into billions. And we need to have more connectivity between the Northeast states and the rest of India and Bangladesh, and of course, Nepal, Bhutan. So I would propose again that we meet the states around these borders as a delegation and try to see how best we can have a larger number of roads, greater investment in the warehouses and the others infrastructure by private sector. Because nowadays, the government invests less, the private sector invests more. Especially in Bangladesh, we are going ahead with private sector investments. So, as a takeaway of today's program, I would like to propose to ICC that we set up a task force on BBIN or task force on connectivity amongst ICC and IBCCI, and then we can rope in the stakeholders. And together we should make a roadmap of approaching all the 4 governments in trying to give a timeline of at least 2-3 of the big land ports to be utilized. Special care has to be taken on the transit transshipment between India to Northeast. And that is where the money lies, and that is where the government's interest lies. And we should perhaps go for transit transshipment corridors, utilizing the less utilized
I think
ports on
yeah.
east and west of Bangladesh and also north of Bangladesh. I'm very happy to see 6 more new land ports have been agreed by Bangladesh. And I hope this is, thank you. ICC,
Thank you, Matlab Sahab.
am I still
We are very obliged
Got it?
for your
Thank you.
remarks, sir. Thank you so much. Now, we'd like to move ahead and invite Mr. Santanu Bhattacharya, Additional Chief Engineer, Public Works Department, Buildings and National Highway, Government of Assam, to kindly deliver his address. Sri Santanu Bhattacharya.
Good afternoon to you all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir,
Am
you
I?
are, sir.
Yes.
Audible. You're visible.
Thank you. I represent the Public Works Department. We are actually tasked with construction and maintenance of highways. We are not involved in policy making anyway. We are there to implement it. Fact. And what I have been asked to attend this meeting and as a part of the August panelist, and at a very short notice. So yes, of course, I have some idea about our working in the connection of connectivity with Bangladesh, which I'll share. One of the most important areas of India's neighborhood first policy rather, is the framing of India's policy with Bangladesh, the country with which India shares its longest international border through 5 states. And Assam has 267.5 kilometers of international border with Bangladesh. And the government of Assam has recently opened the Act East Policy Department also to ensure implementation of Act East policy in a time-bound manner. The geographical location of the Northeast region stands itself as the most favorable location to focus on the implementation of India's Look East policy, which is stated to be India's vision now. The entire Northeastern region is the gateway to Southeast Asia, and therefore the development of communication infrastructure of the Northeastern region is very important. That can be so that it can be linked with the neighboring Southeast Asian countries of Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Thailand. Northeast region has 3 distinct national highways connecting to Bangladesh and which possibly to the capital of Bangladesh, Dhaka. The routes are Guwahati, Jorabad, Shillong, Dauki, Sylhet, Dhaka. This route stretches 467 kilometers. The second one is Guwahati, Jorabad, Shillong, Karimganj, Sutarkandi, Sylhet, Dhaka. This totals 657 kilometers. Out of this stretch, Assam PWD under it has 68 kilometers only. And we are constructing the last mile connectivity to, in fact, we already have it. We are strengthening the last mile connectivity to Sutarkandi, the integrated check post, the Bangladesh border. And the third corridor, I would say, is the Guwahati, Paikan, Dalu, Dhaka. And this is, we have 267 kilometers in Indian territory of this stretch. And out of this, we have only 21.85 kilometers under Assam PWD. But this important connectivity to Sutarkandi, that has been completed. And we are strengthening the 2-lane national highway. And this, what we can see, that after the construction of this national highway, this Sutarkandi trade, it's going up. In fact, if we can see from 2017-18 till 2021-22 last year, the highest was in 2019 and 20. The total volume was 329 crore. The cargo movement was 15,365 numbers, and the passenger movement was 10,002 numbers. But in 2020-21, because of the pandemic, it came down. But in 2021-22, again, it picked up. The 21-22 trade volume was 303.06 crore, and the cargo movement was 12,805. But the passenger movement was very low, of course. It is only 3. But the trade through Sutarkandi is picking up again. Basically, your coal, silicon, fruits, etc. And the Assam government is actually reoriented towards a more economic engagement and taking advantage of the Act East policy. And as you know, that a large part of the informal trade that happens between both the countries through Assam and Tripura can be formalized in a structured and time-bound manner. Further, Assam can benefit from the economic growth of Bangladesh, can be a partner in textile and silk industry, and also in areas like fisheries and agriculture, and have a more stable market. And yes, the government of India also through some other agencies like NHIDCL is doing a lot of things, in the field of communication infrastructure, especially in Tripura. And after the opening of the Maitri Setu by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the NHIDCL has taken up a big project connecting Kailasahar in Tripura to the Bangladesh border, and hope we'll be able to have more role to play in developing the connectivity with Bangladesh and create an atmosphere for better relationship, better trade engagement. And that's all I want to say now. Thank you very much. And I would like to request you to allow me to leave because I have a very important meeting pending also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shantanu Bhattacharya, sir. Thank you so much for addressing us in such a short notice. Now, Madam Jaya Verma, Madam, we are coming, the speakers have spoken their remarks. So I would request, Madam, to provide your conclusive remarks prior to our ending this session.
This has been a very interesting session, and as the eminent panelists have pointed out, that seamless surface transportation between the two countries is crucial for furthering bilateral trade and bringing down the logistic costs. Enough talking has been mentioned, has been done, and now is the time for needing action. So I think Mr. Matlub Ahmed's proposal that ICC forms a task force on examining BBIN and for roping in all the stakeholders, because private participation is extremely important. Similarly, identifying a roadmap as to how to go ahead and approach all the four governments which are involved in this, with a timeline in place, with a transshipment corridor identified, which would be actually the way forward in encouraging this transportation between the two countries. Mr. Shantanu Bhattacharya has been providing a very valuable insight into how infrastructure is being developed to improve the surface connectivity, interconnectivity between the two regions, two countries. And India's Look East policy, of course, is a very crucial driving force behind this kind of a development where the infrastructure is being pushed. And we should also look at, as he has pointed out, towards Southeast Asia connectivity, where Myanmar and other countries, Thailand, etc., would be, this would be the gateway towards, Northeast would be the gateway, Indian Northeast would be the gateway towards connecting these countries as well. So, as has been pointed out by the panel, that getting the region integrated and moving towards a regime where goods and people can move across countries in a seamless fashion, like they do in Europe, like they do in North America. That is the way this region is looking forward to having a regime in place which would enable this. And I think ICC would play a very major role in, and this panel discussion would help in paving the way forward, in which how we can move forward towards getting into that kind of a regional cooperation where all the countries grow and prosper to mutual benefit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you for your closing remarks. So I'd just like to inform that whatever discussion has happened.
Can't hear you, sorry. Siddharth, your voice is cracking. Maybe you need to switch off the.
That is
no, Pranam, you are not audible. Pranam.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Am I audible now?
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Hello? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So very sorry, this is a technical glitch again. Yeah. So thank you to all the panelists. I'd just like to inform the panelists that whatever we have discussed today, it has been recorded, and we will document it and we'll create kind of a white paper and we'll submit to both the governments and the concerned governments and concerned departments. We are also streaming live today. So first of all, I'd like to thank all the panelists here. I'd like to start with our President, Mr. Mahesh Shaharia, Chairman, Indian Chamber of Commerce, Northeast Region. I'd like to thank Abdul Matlub Ahmed Saab, President, India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'd like to thank Sri Fakhur Us Salehin Nahian, Director, Sylhet Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'd like to thank Samir Borwa, Chairman, ICC Banking and MSME Committee. And for the technical session, I'd really like to thank Madam Jaya Verma Sinha, Madam. Madam, we'll be in touch and we'll be intimating you whatever further developments happen in this regard. I would also like to thank Madam Masfi Binte Shama, who had to leave because she had a flight and she's moving with the Honorable Prime Minister to abroad. Then Matlub Bhai, again, thank you. And of course, Mr. Shantanu Bhattacharya, Additional Chief Engineer, Public Works Department, Buildings and National Highway, for your delivery. So I thank all the panelists and thank you for making this session a success. Thank you. And I'd like to inform the delegates here that we are having our second session on as potential cross-border surface route trade, which is going to start from 2:15 p.m. Indian Standard Time, which is 2:45 Bangladesh Standard Time. I request all to kindly join during that session also, as there are significant panelists from United Nations. There is a panelist from Northeastern Council, Ministry of Donor. Then there is the Eastern High Commissioner of Bangladesh in Guwahati. Abdul Matlub Ahmed Saab is there, and there is also the President of Dhaka Chamber of Commerce Industry. So I request all kind in that session also. So thank you all the panelists for being there. Thank you so much. We now come to the end of this session.
Yeah, just before ending it, I just want to inform that at 4 o'clock, we have got a very important session that is with our Honorable Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal is there, and Mr. Musiur Rahman is the Economic Advisor to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. So I also request everyone to be present there. Thank you very much.
That was our Regional Director of Northeastern Region, Mr. Ishantra Subhapandit, who has just joined us. So please kindly, we request you to kindly join at the 4 o'clock. Thank you so much to all the panelists.